And I see you're still happy.
We're live. We're live. Hey, my brother.
Ricky, what's up, sir?
Good to see you, man. How you doing?
I'm good, man. Good to see you as well. It's another day where we have the opportunity to gather together to empower and impact lives.
Yes, sir. I'm excited about it.
Yeah, man. We get to help people understand that the revolution will not be televised, but it's going to be straight.
It's going to be straight.
And so this conversation, for those of you who are tuned in today, it's a conversation about leadership and life in this digital world. We want to challenge you to go ahead and hit the share button. There's somebody that you know that needs to get this content. You heard it before. That's why you're back today. And you were refreshed, you were reinvigorated, you were able to hit the reset button because of some major nugget that Dr. Allmon shared, or some little minor piece that I dropped in on you. It changed and challenged your life. You were impacted. So impact somebody else. Hit the share button, hit the @ symbol, type their name in so that they can get connected. Who is it that should be joining us? Pastors, entrepreneurs, consultants, digital content creators, social media influencers, corporate executives, educators, everybody, everybody who's really desiring to maximize the potential and mobilize their purpose and multiply their productivity. It's our desire that you win. We want you to be made better.
That's it.
Substance that we're pouring into you in these sessions that we share Saturday after Saturday. I'm StephenThurston, my teammate, because we're not host to co-host, we're teammates.
Right.
In development. Not partners in crime, partners in development.
Right.
My partner, Dr. RickyAllmon.
Yes, sir.
For the next 50 minutes or so, and bless your life. That's the goal. That's the desire. Let's do this roll call as we do. We got the quarantine roll call as we're sheltering in place. Drop us a line. Let us know where you're watching from. We want to see the reach of the audience and how far we're able to get the word out concerning this. And of course, we got to give a special shout out and a special thank you, Rick, to all of our first responders.
Yes.
Our leaders, our nurses, our doctors, our law enforcement, government officials, whatever the capacity that you're serving in, to sacrifice literally your life for the safety, for the security, for the health of the people. We honor you. We thank you, and we literally bless God for what you do. So Rick, today
we're diving in and we're talking about this mentorship matrix. We've been in this series focused on being all in.
So they're telling us we got a little echo.
I need to figure out where it is.
Okay.
They can let us know if they still hear it.
Do you all still hear it?
That's the thing with this technology.
You never know.
You never know. And I want to make sure we hear that everybody can hear us well. So let us know if you still hear the echo. Do you still hear it? Bring your volume down maybe just a little bit, Stephen.
All right. How about that?
All right. Somebody let us know something. Do you still hear an echo? Talk to us. I think we must be good. So we'll roll with it.
Yes, sir. Well, listen, man.
They say they still hear it.
They still hear it?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out where an echo is coming from.
It's gonna come together.
Yeah.
We're
gonna figure it out. That's
for
sure.
That's what leaders do. They figure it out. This is all an exercise.
Right.
Teach and share.
So is it an intense echo? Somebody let me know something. Okay, I think it's gone.
We're good? Awesome.
Somebody tell me if it's gone. I think I found it. Does anybody still hear it? All right, we're good. Let's go.
Awesome, man.
Thank you all, and thanks for your patience. We appreciate it.
For sure. So this is what that ties into this all-in piece, Rick, because we're talking about collaboration and not competition.
Right.
And the collaboration that we have with those who are tuned into us to help us when they were our blind spot indicator, just right there.
Right.
Showing us an issue that needed to be addressed. You did what you need to do on your end, and now we're able to move forward.
So you see, they're telling us we're good. I'm looking at the message. Everybody's saying it's gone. Thank you. Listen, so quickly, give us a quarantine roll call. While you're leaving comments, shout out what city you're in. I know some of y'all are not staying in place anymore. Your city has rolled out. Your government has said, go outside. You better keep yourself inside until this curve flattens. That's our public service announcement for today. we're not being partisan in any way. We just saying we want you to be alive on the other side of this. There's no need of us teaching all the stuff that we're teaching if you're not alive to use it. So please stay alive. That's all we got to say about that. But come on, Stephen, you got the floor. Move us into this so we can talk about what we're here for today.
Cool, man. So we're looking at this mentorship matrix. Anybody who's in leadership knows that in order to become successful, you can't do it by yourself. You need somebody else. You need the guidance, the wisdom of others. Last week, I was able to share some of the dark side of mentorship. And we juxtaposed it to that show that used to capture my attention, To Catch a Predator, and perverted patronage. And so we looked at how oftentimes from the negative side of mentorship, when it's done the wrong way, it akens and it's juxtaposed to those who prey upon those who are vulnerable. Grooming is the name, the phrase that's labeled for that process of getting the victim and the victimizer to a space where the abuse can happen. So we walk through those phases. There's contact and introduction. There's relationship building. There's testing and desensitizing. Then there's the honeymoon and the exclusive relationship phase. And our challenge last week was for individuals to take a hard look at some of those mentor-mentee relationships that they may find themselves in, to make sure none of that residue is there. And as they move into new relationships of mentor-mentee, they're attentive to the red flags.
Right.
They don't find themselves in those dangerous situations. And this week, you're about to challenge us, change us, convict us, and convert us by sharing what it looks like to have a healthy balance in that mentor-mentee relationship. So I'm excited for these nuggets you're about to share. I trust that somebody's got pen and paper. We're going to give you like 15 seconds to go run, grab something, prick your finger so you can type in blood. Whatever you got to do, we want you to be able to take down these notes. They're going to impact your life. They're going to change your life. And you can use them like today. Content that we give isn't something you got to build up to. You can immediately plug it and play it. So, Rick, come on and blow our minds, man.
Well, sir, thank you for that introduction. I hope I can speak up to it, think up to it. But before I get into the content that we have to share today about the mentorship matrix, after last week, you so capably and eloquently laid before us the dysfunctional template and what I call the dark side of mentorship. Today, I want to give you the construct of what real, authentic, developmental mentorship and relationship looks like. But before I do that, Stephen, I think we ought to discuss something for a few moments here, and that is, how does a person know whether or not they need mentorship? At what point? What are the signs that people should pay attention to in their life that indicates it's time to bring a mentor into your life? In my personal opinion, because I was blessed that my biological father, who was also my spiritual father and pastor, was also my mentor. And because of the characteristics that I'm getting ready to give today, at every stage and phase of my life, he was very critical for my development because he personified and embodied the traits that I'm going to give for a mentor that can help you to develop. So, what is it, before I deal with what a person should look for in a mentor?
Yes.
And what should happen from that mentor? Let's talk about, just for a few moments, the signs that will let a person know it's time to have a mentor, that they need mentorship in their life. Speak to that for a moment.
Sure. I think when you've reached a place of plateau, you've been growing, you've been climbing, but it's like this invisible barrier there that you just can't seem to break through. You need somebody, because at various levels, there are various tools that you need, mindset shifts that have to take place. So you need somebody who's gone before you, who's gone through these barriers and these barricades to kind of coach you, help you navigate, help you to change your thinking. So that plateau level.
Mm-hmm.
Additionally to that, as you transition in life, that requires another level of mentorship.
Right.
And I'll pause there. You've been in the series on Thursday nights about dancing with dinosaurs,
right,
dealing with the dinosaur killer.
Mm-hmm.
And so one of the things that I noticed in consulting with more senior leaders is that they think that they've arrived.
Right.
They no longer need to be mentored. But even as you transition to the place of retirement, life shifts are about to happen. You need somebody to coach you and mentor you through that.
Right.
So it's a holistic thing. It's not just from a climbing the corporate ladder or success. You need to be mentored in how to transition, how to pass the baton, how to have a life outside, an identity outside of what you've done. So I think as we go through the life cycle, as we go to different levels in building what we're trying to build, growing what we need to grow, those are two key things for me that say, hey, I need a mentor. I need some leadership. I need some guidance.
So if I can put these in three, I like three. Of course, those who are into numerology or study numbers biblically, because the Bible is a book of numbers. Three is the number of perfection. And so I like things in threes. So what you just said is we need mentors for transformation is in essence what you said. If you've reached a plateau in your life or you feel like you're stuck in a rut, you need a mentor to help you to break through.
Yes.
To the next dimension, the next level. So you need a mentor for transformation. Somebody type this on the screen. Number two, you need a mentor for transition. It is the second thing that you describe. I'm just encapsulating
Yes,
it.
sir.
You need a mentor for transition. But then number three, would you accept, Stephen, that you also need a mentor for trauma?
Yes, sir.
You've dealt with a layoff. You've dealt with a furlough. You don't know how you're going to break through in your career. You've got plateaus you deal with. That's transformation.
Yes, sir.
You've got decisions you need to make. That's transition. But then even for trauma, the death of a loved one, you need somebody at every stage in your life.
Yes, sir.
You need somebody connected to your life that can help you to navigate what's happening in your life. Let me say that again. At every stage in your life, get this, you need somebody connected to your life that can help you navigate what's happening in your life.
Yeah, I love it.
So that's so important. So what we're trying to tell you is it was a trick question when I asked him to identify what are some of the signs that a person needs a mentor. The reality is everybody needs a mentor at every stage in your life. You can call it a life coach, whatever you want to call it, but everybody needs a mentor. Thank you so much, Stephen, for that. That's a perfect segue into what I'm getting ready to talk about today. To give you the B side of the record. Stephen gave you the A side about the dysfunctions and the dark side of mentorship. What I want to give you today is what the developmental side of mentorship looks like. And in order to do that, I need you to write this down. I want to give you the DNA of a mentor. Anybody that listens to me, that tracks with me in any context of communication or teaching and preaching, knows that there are two areas I love to talk about. That's destiny and identity. The reason I love talking about those two areas is because your identity doesn't determine your destiny. Your destiny determines your identity. In other words, what you're made from determines what you're made for. Let me say that again. What you're made from determines what you're made for. And that's very critical to recognize. And so that's why you often hear me talk about the DNA of something, the DNA of a dinosaur slayer or the DNA of an effective leader. DNA just simply means, just like it is chromosomally in your body, your DNA are those elements that are the truest part of who you are. You can't change your DNA.
Correct.
You can change your nose and change your lips, and you can change a whole lot of things about your body, but one thing you cannot change is your DNA.
Yeah.
And so that's why I believe it's so important that no matter what context of life you're dealing with, that you discover and define what the DNA ought to be so that you can be authentic in that area. So I want to give you the three things that I believe are very critical and crucial in a mentor. If they don't have these three things, then they're not suitable to mentor and coach you and help you to develop your life. The first thing that a mentor should have, the first thing in the DNA of a mentor, is a mentor should have emotional intelligence. There is no such thing, are you ready for this, as a moody mentor. Now, you can have moody friends and moody family members, but you cannot have a temperamental mentor. I mean, what if you're at a crisis moment in your life? You've got to make a major decision. It's millions of dollars on the line, and you call your mentor, and they're like, well, I ain't thinking today. My brain, I don't want to talk to you. So the first thing in the DNA of a mentor is they have to have emotional intelligence. Now, the other reason that's very critical is because you don't want to know it all as a mentor.
Right.
Because if you think you already know everything that I need to know, then guess what? You're not open to learn the rest of what you need to know to help me learn what I need to know. Okay? Exactly. So a mentor has to have emotional intelligence. If you're going to mentor somebody, don't give the false impression that you know it all. And if you're going to be a mentor, you have to be open to reverse mentoring.
Rick, can I jump in here?
Yes, of course.
Just in case.
And you can turn your volume up a little bit now because I found the source of, so we're good.
All right. Just in case we've got somebody tuned in who's unclear about that phraseology, emotional intelligence. Can you unpack that a little bit, define that?
Okay, so emotional intelligence, just like you have an IQ, you also have an EQ. So somebody needs to put that on the screen. Thanks for asking, Stephen. You got an IQ. Your IQ is your intelligence quotient, or what we call intellect. It determines how erudite you are, how brilliant you are. So just like you have an IQ, you have an EQ, which is your emotional quotient. What emotional intelligence means, it just simply means how adept are you at dealing with people, circumstances, and opportunities around you. That's all emotional intelligence means. In other words, you can be book smart, but if you don't have people skills, that means you have a deficiency in your emotional intelligence.
Yes, sir.
You have people that know what to say, but they don't know how to say it. I'm going to just give them a piece of my mind. Well, that shows a deficiency in your emotional intelligence. So if you're going to be a mentor, you've got to have a high EQ. You've got to have high emotional intelligence. Don't give the false impression that you know it all, and be willing to engage in reverse mentoring. Here's the second thing in the DNA of a mentor. A mentor not only needs emotional intelligence, but a mentor needs spiritual intelligence. Now, I need you to understand this because this is beyond the scope of religion. You do understand that as a human being, you are a tripartite being, which means you're made of three parts. And the most intrinsic part of you is called your spirit. That's the essence of who you are. So as a human being, we are a spirit, which is our God awareness. We have a soul, or suke, which is our self-awareness. That's where we get psychology from. And you're in a body, which is your world awareness, which is the channel for your five senses. So as a human being, you're tripartite. You have a spirit, which is your God awareness. You have a soul, you are a spirit. You have a soul, which is your self-awareness, and you're in a body, which is your world awareness. So if you're going to be a mentor, you've got to pay attention to your spiritual IQ. You can call it instinct, you can call it intuition, but it's that voice within you. In Latin, the word voce is actually the etymological root for our English word vocation. I don't want to go too deep in linguistics today, Stephen, but it's kind of just there today. In Latin, voce, which means small voice or inner voice, is where we get our word vocation, which means you should not be doing anything with your life, get this, that doesn't come from within your life.
Yes, sir.
I just wanted to drop that on somebody. You should not be doing what you say.
Time for the sound effect.
Oh yeah, let me get my sound effect here. That's a principle alert. You shouldn't be doing anything with your life that doesn't come from within your life. Somebody type that on the screen right now. You shouldn't do anything with your life that doesn't come from within your life. And so our word vocation comes from that word voce, or inner voice. And so understand, your spiritual IQ is your inner voice. If you're going to be a mentor, and if you're looking for a mentor, they must first have emotional intelligence, but number two, they must have a high spiritual IQ or spiritual intelligence. What does that mean? That means that they're not guiding you to just trust your human effort alone. They're not guiding you to just accept whatever reality gives you, but they are keenly aware. A mentor is keenly aware that there is a divine design in play that goes beyond everything we can see or everything we can process cerebrally. So if you're going to have a mentor, number one, they have to be emotionally secure. Number two, they have to be spiritually secure. And then let me give you number three and move on here. And then number three, they have to have empathy. And this is very important. It's not enough for a mentor to have emotional intelligence. It's not enough for a mentor to have a high spiritual IQ, but a mentor needs to have empathy. That means they should not put plans and systems in front of process and strategies. Did you get that? A mentor should never put plans and systems ahead of process and strategies. When I say a mentor ought to have empathy, what that means is they should not only do an assessment of how to best use your potential to fulfill the purpose of your life or maximize productivity, but they should also pay attention to who you are as a person. Let me say that again. A mentor should not only do a hard assessment of your potential so that you could fulfill your purpose and maximize productivity, but a mentor also pays attention to your person. What are you saying? In other words, they should pay attention to where you come from. They should pay attention to the influences on your life. They should pay attention to the other voices you have in your life. They should pay attention to your handicaps and your weaknesses. They should pay attention to your strengths. They should pay attention to your personality profile. They should have a sensitivity to the nuances and the idiosyncrasies. See, I know a lot of people walking around, they go get a little certificate, Stephen, and in one day they somebody's life coach.
Right, exactly.
But that's not how it works. You get what I'm saying? Like this mentoring is serious business. That's why Stephen dealt with the ugly side of it first, because when you bring somebody into a mentoring role in your life, you're giving them a lot of power in your life.
Correct.
And so you don't want anybody in that role that's manipulative. You don't want anybody in that role that's seeking, what did you call it last week, Stephen? What did you call them? Predators.
Predators.
You call them, you don't want a predatory person being a mentor. And then if you're going to be a mentor, you don't want to be those things.
Correct.
So it's important. Let me encapsulate the DNA of a mentor, the three things. Number one.
Before you encapsulate, let me tap back into your last point on empathy.
Yes.
So help us, because I've seen this happen as well. Mentor has a good heart, has a pure heart, wants to encourage that mentee, but there's a tendency sometimes of the mentor to want to make the mentee a mini-me.
Well, I'm going to cover that.
Okay,
that's
right.
A good point. I'm going to get to it because I think that's very critical. You have, and that goes to really the dysfunction that you talked about last week. Yeah. When a mentor, or in this case, an imposter, because you're not a mentor if you try to make somebody into another form of you, that's not their purpose. But the imposter of a mentor is somebody that wants to clone you as them. And you know what's interesting about that, Stephen? I'm glad you brought that up. Is oftentimes that happens because that mentor is attempting to live vicariously through the mentee.
Yes.
In other words, they're trying to mask their deficiencies. So now I can appear greater than I am if I try to make you a clone of me, and then that gives validation to the areas in me that haven't developed.
Yes, sir.
So I think that's very good, and we're going to unpack that. So quickly, the DNA of a mentor is, number one, they have to have emotional intelligence. They can't give a false impression that they know it all, and they have to be willing to engage reverse mentoring. Anybody that you bring into your life as a mentor that doesn't see a need to learn from you, you don't need them connected to you, because that means they're going to do everything they can to subvert and manipulate and attempt to murder, assassinate everything. Listen, this is raw, real conversation here. So don't come up into the revolution will not be televised. It will be streamed unless you about that life. Okay. Because Stephen and I are trying to give you, we've been nice a few weeks, but it's about to get thick in the room. Okay. So number one, they got to have emotional intelligence. Number two, they have to have spiritual intelligence. They have to understand that it's not just about human effort and human opportunity, but that there is a divine design. Number three, they have to have empathy. They can't just be married to plans and systems, but they have to engage process and strategy. Now, here we go. Let's get into this mentorship matrix and talk about what the purpose of a mentor is. Now, I need you to pay attention, because I told you everybody needs a mentor at every stage in their life. Stephen and I settle that a person needs a mentor for 3 reasons, and somebody put it down. I'm going to put it on the screen. You need a mentor for transformation, you need a mentor for transition, and you need a mentor for trauma. You need a mentor when you're trying to break through to another level. You need a mentor if you're trying to transition from one stage of life to another. You need a mentor if you're going through trauma, if you're dealing with things in your life that you're trying to process. So now that we understand that, let me walk you through what the role of a mentor is. And of course, this is just Stephen and I having a conversation. We're letting y'all in on it. So this is not about us just having this pedagogical style of teaching. You're being taught and transformed as we discourse. So we're just having a conversation. So if you hear something you're not comfortable with, well, just keep listening. You'll hear something else you like. So Stephen, here's what I believe is the primary role of a mentor. And that is, and I want your thoughts on this, that is to mobilize others for purpose so that they can maximize their potential and manifest possibilities through productivity. Let me give it slow jam.
Yes, sir.
Okay. The role of a mentor, I need everybody to hear this, because if the person that you see as a mentor in your life is not catalyzing what I'm about to say for your life, you need to give them an eviction notice out of your life immediately. I didn't say immediately, immediately. It's time for them. I'm in rare form today. I don't know what's up with me. Maybe it's getting warm.
New Orleans coming out of you.
That New Orleans coming out of me. That Baton Rouge is coming out today. The role of a mentor is to mobilize you for purpose so that you can maximize your potential, so you can use all of the stuff God's put in you.
Yes.
So that you can manifest possibilities through productivity.
Yes.
Now, let's get down to the brass tacks of this, the nuts and bolts of what a mentor looks like and how a mentor engages in your life. If the mentor is not engaging, I need y'all to write this down, because this is the template that you're going to use. If you're going to engage somebody as a mentor, these are the things you need to pay attention to. Number one, a mentor knows how to give critique without being criticizing, and they know how to challenge without being condescending. I'll say it again. A mentor knows how to give critique without being criticizing, and they know how to challenge without being condescending. Stephen, have you ever had somebody tell you the right thing,
but the wrong way,
and you wanted to give them a church? You know what I'm saying? Like, from both sides. You get what I'm saying? Like, you like, I know, I hear what you say, but what you're saying and what you mean seem like two different things because of how you're saying it.
Right.
So yes, I know as a mentor, you want to be definitive. And as a mentor, you want to be direct, but be careful that your critique is not criticizing and that your challenge is not condescending. In other words, you want to cultivate that person's potential, but while you're cultivating their potential, make sure you're not destroying the person. You want to speak to that?
Yeah, you're not crushing them. So it creates the opportunity for them to come back. And it's likewise important for the mentee to not be so thin-skinned.
True. That's true.
Receive critique, criticism, pointing out of those minor details that need to be tweaked or adjusted for their betterment. But it's super crucial.
But here's what I believe on that too, Stephen. What I believe on that is that it's the job of the mentor to also shape the terms of engagement. Somebody said they're trying to be my armor bearer mentee. I hear you. Let's talk about it. Y'all keep giving us your comments. I'm going to post them on the screen. If you got a question, if you got something you want to say, if you got a thought you want to expand on, go ahead and type it. Also, if you want to let us know where you're coming on from, we'll shout you out. This is interactive. This is for you all. We created this for you, so we want to talk. I think I see you, Brandon. I think it's critical for the mentor to help shape how the mentee receives. I know that we often say, the mentee can't have thin skin, and that's true. But you got to understand, if I'm in the mentorship role, it's a parenting role.
True.
So part of my role is while I'm raising their IQ and their spiritual intelligence, I've also got to raise their EQ to help them understand how to receive it. And I think that's where we separate the true mentors from the imposters.
Yes.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, they're setting the tone.
Exactly. They got to set the tone, which leads me to my next point. A mentor never competes with those they're called to cultivate. That's very critical. You don't need somebody mentoring you that's trying to outdo you. You ought to already know who you are, which goes back to the DNA of a mentor, right? They have to be emotionally secure. They've got to have, what did you say?
Yeah, they got to be secure.
Man, that's so critical.
Yeah, I put up a post yesterday. Success without a successor is failure. That mentor has to have the attitude that this mentee is going to one day replace me.
Right.
So everything I need into them for them to run further, faster. And I think Jermone said it the other week, it's dangerous when a mentor tries to mentor beyond their moment.
Right. And that's very critical, which leads me to the next point. A mentor, watch this, will always affirm who you are, acknowledge what you have, and advance you to where you belong.
That's it.
Let me say it again. A mentor, number one, acknowledges your personhood. Anybody who comes in your life to mentor you, they shouldn't come in your life saying, you ain't nothing. Look at where you at. You just, no. I may not be where I ought to be, but I already have everything in me that I need to become. Write that down. I may not be where I ought to be, but I got everything in me that I need to become. I'm going to say it one more time until everybody gets it. I may not be where I ought to be, but I've got everything in me that I need to become. Get that in your head. And so if a mentor comes into your life, number one, they should affirm who you are. Number two, they should acknowledge what you have. And then number three, they should advance you to the place where you belong. What that means is is a mentor will never limit you to what they achieve. That's what you were talking about earlier, Stephen.
Yes, sir.
And that's so critical. A mentor is not going to say, well, you know what? I see what you're doing, but let me show you how I did it. No. The job of a mentor is to bring out the best in that other person.
Yeah, because all of us are multi-gifted, different skill sets, different abilities, the ability to reach a different demographic,
Right,
group of people. And so I need somebody just to tweak, fine tune what's in me so I can become the best version of me for who I'm supposed to reach and serve.
and now here's what's interesting about that, Stephen, because not only will a mentor not limit you to what they achieve, but they will equip you to exceed their achievement. And that's very critical. A mentor don't just come in your life to help you to be great. That mentor wants to make you greater than them. Here is how they do that. Here is how a mentor makes you greater. And you're looking at two individuals, two gentlemen who are mentors in various areas. We represent over 50 years of experience and expertise in pastoral, entrepreneurial, and organizational leadership. So you're looking at mentors. The reason we're doing this, nobody's behind the scene breaking us off cash money. If you want to, you can, but nobody's doing that. We're giving our time. We're donating our time. We have responsibilities at the ministries that we are brought on to serve in the city where we're in. So we have other things that we have to give our time and attention and energy and talents to, but we make it our business to come here on Saturday. Stephen makes it his business to come on Tuesday. I make it my business to come on Thursdays. We make it our business to go on other platforms with other individuals to talk about life and leadership and relationship. You know why? Because we want you to be greater. I don't want to get churchy here, Stephen, but somebody ought to type greater. So somebody ought to put greater on the screen. Yeah, somebody clapping for that. Yes, sir. We gotta be greater. And so that's what we're here for. Here is how this happens. Here's how a mentor leads you to exceed their accomplishments. You want to know how it happens? Because the right mentor will activate your dreams and accelerate your destiny. That's what the right mentor does. The right mentor will activate your dreams and accelerate your destiny. The responsibility of a mentor, Stephen, is to love and lead.
Yes.
In that order, as Mama D says on Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. You've gotta love and lead. Now watch this. If the mentor is loving and leading, what does the mentee have to do? The mentee has to listen and learn. Now y'all write that down. Because if the mentor has to love and lead the mentee has to listen and learn from the mentee. Sounds like your parents, don't it? Look, just listen to me, you'll learn something.
That's it.
But that's how you got to be. If you're going to be the mentee, your job is to first recognize that this mentor has your best interests at heart. And if you recognize that, then just like you trust your parents or trust a teacher or trust somebody in your life that you allow to be a figure of authority and influence for your life, even when they tell you something that's challenging in your life, it's the responsibility of the mentee to listen and learn from it. Because I'm doing a lot of talking about the mentor, but we also have to interject elements and characteristics and the actions of the mentee if it's going to be a productive relationship.
Correct.
Now, here's what a good mentor will do. A good mentor will create opportunities, get this, for you to lead while you're learning. They don't just tell you what needs to be done, but they create a place and a space for you to do it. And that's very critical to understand. A mentor will create opportunities for you to lead while you're learning. Why is that? So you can build confidence. Because what's the use of me giving you the theory if I don't ever take you to the lab.
Experience. You got to have the experience.
I mean, that's why when we were in college, we had to have labs.
Correct.
Along with the academic engagement, because I got the theory, but I'll never build confidence in using it if I don't have the lab.
Got to put it in practice.
And so a mentor has to give you a place. So here's how the mentor does this. The right mentor will help you to discover your design. Now, this is where it all comes together. The right mentor, number one, will help you to discover your design. In other words, the right mentor will help you to assess, who am I? And in order to answer who, you got to answer why. That's very critical. You can't answer the question of who you are before you answer the question of why am I here? Like if somebody asks me, and this has been my response since a teenager, if somebody asks me, Ricky, why are you on this planet? I'm going to just give you one word, because if you can't give your life's mandate in one word, then you may not have discovered why you're here. My one word for existing on planet Earth is impact. IMPACT. That's the reason I'm here. I don't want to influence, I want to impact. There's a difference. To influence means I make an impression, but when the moment is over, it goes back to what it was. Impact is when the contact and the interaction is so definitive that it changes you to the degree that you can never be what you were again. That's why I'm put on the planet. Whether I'm operating in a pastoral role, whether I'm preaching, whether I'm teaching, whether I'm doing leadership consulting, it doesn't matter what the context, whether it's personal relationships, whether it's my friendship with Stephen, whether it's me being a husband to my wife, in every relationship and interaction in my life, I want something to come out of me to the object of that relationship where they can say, I am better because RickyAllmon is connected to me. Yes. You get what I'm saying? I paid Stephen to shake his head. Yes. So I knew I was going to get one amen out of this deal. But that's so important. Yeah. So the right mentor will help you to discover your design. The right mentor, what do you mean by design? They'll help you to discover the passion that you have. That, again, back to that Latin word voce, V-O-C-E. They'll help you to discover what it is on the inside of you that's driving you. Number two, a mentor will help you to develop your dreams. A mentor is not there to be a psychologist, to just talk about your dreams. No, they're there to translate your dreams. The psychologist may interpret them, but a mentor translates them. Let me say that again. Ooh, that's good. I need a hand clap on that. Let me get a hand clap. There we go. Listen, a psychologist may interpret your dreams, but a mentor will translate your dreams. In other words, they turn your dreams into development. Get this? They turn your dreams into development. Somebody said it this way, Stephen. Somebody said, dreams come true if you don't oversleep. And that's very critical. And that's what a mentor does. A mentor helps you to wake up. Oh, I'm dreaming about this, and I see this, and I got a vision for this. Wonderful. Now let me help you develop them. And then thirdly, a mentor gives direction for your destiny. A mentor shows you. What's up, Harold? Harold said he's clapping. Thank you, man. A mentor gives direction for your destiny. They help you to see why you're here and what you're supposed to be doing with your life and the direction for your life. The last point I want to make about a mentor, and then I'm gonna add a disclaimer to all of this. The last point I want to make about a mentor is that a mentor is not a dictator. And now this is very critical to understand, because there's a fine line there, Stephen, between somebody that's in your life for development and somebody trying to be a dictator. It's a fine line. You say, well, how do I distinguish? How do I know the difference. Where's the dividing line? What's the line of demarcation? Because somebody that's there to develop you doesn't just tell you what to do, they show you how to do it.
That's it. That's the key right there.
That's it. A dictator is just going to say, do what I say. They're not getting in the trenches with you. They're not walking through it with you. All they say is just do it because I told you to do it. A mentor says, no. I'm not here to dictate. I'm here for development. I'm going to get in. So here's what it looks like. Let me give you the process of mentorship. If you're going to be a mentor, so I'm going to just say everybody that's on this conversation is a mentor. So I want to reverse the roles. We're not talking to you as the mentee. We're talking to you as the mentor now. This is what mentorship looks like. Number one, you do it and become an expert at it. Google how many hours you have to do something to become an expert. We're not giving it to you. We've already given you enough stuff free. We're going to make you go do some work. Okay? So Google how many, I know how many hours. Stephen know how many hours. We've had to apply those hours in different areas of our life to be experts on certain subject matter. You go look up how many hours you need to do and then go do the hours. So here it is. A mentor, number one, does it for themselves and becomes an expert. Number two, they do it and bring somebody else around them to watch them do it. Number three, they let the person that they brought around them, the mentor, do it, and then they provide tips and tools for their efficiency. Number four, they let that person do it on their own and empower them to find somebody else. Should I give them that one more time, Stephen?
Please do, sir. Please.
Okay. If you're going to be a mentor, number one, do something. That really, we could stop right there, put the pen right there. That's the whole sermon. Do something. But don't just do something, become an expert at it. Google how many hours you have to do something repetitively to become an expert. So number one, do something. Number two, whatever you're an expert at, bring somebody else around you that has the potential in that same area who you're grooming to be better than you. Got it? Number three, once that person sees how you do it, once you help them to understand the philosophy behind what you do, then allow them to do it and you provide them the tips and tools they need to get the job done well. Then number four, empower them to do it on their own and release them to do it and show somebody else. One of the greatest things my father told me, I love his memory. But one of the greatest things my father, Bishop Richard V. Allmon Sr., I'm his namesake. One of the greatest things my father taught me is, he said, Ricky, don't seek to do things the way that I'm doing them. But what I want you to do is understand why I'm doing it.
Wow. Yeah.
Stephen, share something as we come to a close. Share something that your father taught you. Stephen is also a namesake. His father is a general, Reverend Stephen Thurston Sr. Stephen, share something that your father, because I know he's a mentor in your life, one of your mentors. Share something that he shared with you that is still defining your development for destiny.
Yeah. So he stressed the importance of setting the stage as a leader, setting the model for those who would follow me. So one of the key things in that church context was, if you're going to ask the members to do something, you need to be the first to do it.
Right.
And I recall vividly when we were building our new facility, my dad got up one Sunday and said, well, I'm going to pledge $20,000 out of my pocket to this project. And I'm sitting in the pulpit. And I remember early on, he mentioned that comment to me. And so he didn't ask me, he didn't prompt me, but I stood up, walked over to Mike and said, well, Dad, I'm going to stand with you as we're both leading this ministry. I don't make as much as you, but I'm going to give 10.
Wow.
And that was a sacrifice. It was a struggle at the time, but that was important for those who were following us.
Right.
To see that pattern being set. And that would endear trust. They knew that we had pure motives, that we were going all in, just as we were inviting them to go all in. And from that moment, I recall my dad had left the country, Rick, for a couple of weeks, and there were some other things I wanted to do in our current facility, not the church we were building, but I wanted to do so. I was able to raise about $240,000 over 6 weeks.
Wow.
And he came back in town and was shocked, and I was too.
Right.
As a member at 24 years old, that amount of money in that quick amount of time in the midst of a building project.
Wow.
And it was because early on, he taught me, set the stage, demonstrate what you're doing.
Right.
People will follow you. And they came right along and did it.
And that's very critical. And so that's what a mentor does. They empower you to go beyond them and not just imitate them. A mentor doesn't encourage you to imitate them. They encourage emulation. Imitation is just to be a photocopy. And the duplicate is always going to be diminished in comparison to the original, right? But we're called to emulate, which means get the philosophy and the psychology. Get the philosophy and the psychology of why a person does something. And that's very critical. Last point, Stephen, I want to make with this. Of course, you and I have talked about the book Necessary Endings by Dr. Henry Cloud.
Yes.
And Henry Cloud says this. He says it's possible to have mentors that once fit, but whose time has passed.
Correct.
And this is very important because leaving is a part of learning.
Yeah.
And I want to help those who are mentees and mentors. Everybody that's a mentor in your life may not fit every stage of your life. And that's okay. They're not supposed to. And you've got to be all right with that. So you can have a mentor in one stage that doesn't fit another stage. And it doesn't mean that there's something wrong with them. It just means that they don't have what you need for where you're going. And maybe there's somebody else that you need in your life that can help you move to the place and the stage where you're trying to go.
That's it.
And that's very important to understand. That's very important to recognize that leaving is a part of learning, even when it comes to opportunities in your life. I always say this: everything in your life is not transcendent. You know, something transcendent means it goes with you. It lives beyond the parameters of space and time. But then there's some things that are transitional. And then there are other things that are so definitive, they are transformative. You become them. You become that moment. But it's very important to understand that. So that's my talk today on the Mentorship Matrix. Yeah.
I'll add into what you said. There's also that moment in time, you talked about the transition of one who served as your mentor, where you begin to see that you're learning more of what not to do than what to do. And that's
very critical. Yes.
Transition that person's role in your life.
Well, you know what? And you just said a lot, because one of the things my father taught me, he said some things are better caught than taught.
Yeah.
And that's critical to understand, especially if you're a mentor. You got to realize whoever your mentees are, whoever your proteges are, they're not just hearing what you say, they're watching what you do.
Yeah.
And they're watching you when you're not paying attention to them watching you. They're watching what you post on social media. They're paying attention to your how you emote. They're paying attention to your personality profile. They're paying attention to the value you put on people or don't put on people. So it's important to understand, in the mentorship-mentee relationship, more is caught than taught. And sometimes as a mentee, to Stephen's point, you learn more about what not to do as you learn about what to do.
Yeah.
Anybody have any questions today before Stephen wraps us up? If you have any questions, go ahead and tap them on the screen. We went a little over. We're just about 4 minutes over, Stephen, but we right on time, man. This is really good.
This is good.
Yeah.
And we need you all, because you know it's good, to number one, hit the share button.
Thank you.
Number two, tag somebody in this. Number three, and more importantly, go over to the private group The revolution will not be televised. It will be streamed. Just start typing that in. Once we get off into the search on Facebook, it'll take you there. 3 quick questions, very quick questions that we want you to answer to get into that group. It's necessary that you answer these questions. We want to make sure that this is a community of people that fit together, people that really want to grow, people that can grow others that are in the group. This is a collective community. So it's important that we kind of put at least that filter there to make sure the right people are getting into this environment. And you want to be a part of this environment, because if you think the content that you're getting here, there's going to be some extra, some additional that you'll get in this Facebook group. Please head over and sign up to join that group. Listen, Dr. Allmon, thank you for writing us a prescription
for
our pain as relates to a lack of leadership.
Yes, sir.
And mentor. You've helped us.
Yeah, I hope it helped, because I mean we need mentors in our life, and we have the responsibility of being mentors to others to help them maximize their life. And I think because you and I are on both sides of this and will continue to be, because there's no stage in your life where you graduate from being a mentee. As a matter of fact, the qualification of a mentor is that they're a mentee. Somebody just posted on Periscope, Morris Grundy. He said, this wasn't good. This was great. Thank you, Morris. He's out of the DFW, my little brother. That's one of my mentees. But yeah, I think it's important to understand you'll continue in both relationships. And because I know this role and relationship of mentee mentor is so important, I felt like it was incumbent upon us, Stephen, to talk about it. Yeah. And to deal with all facets of it. So that's why the part you shared last week about the dysfunction, man, was so important. So listen, like this, tap that screen if you're on Facebook, if you're on Periscope, release some hearts on YouTube, because this is everywhere, Stephen. We're going global. This is everywhere. Tap this screen. Leave us some comments. So while we're talking in these closing moments, type us some comments. Tell us what your favorite part of this conversation was. If you're on YouTube, subscribe at RickyAllmon. We're probably going to have to create a whole nother channel for The Revolution. Will not be televised. It will be streamed as we move forward. That will also go with our Facebook group. But like, share, put this on your platform. You can have a watch party later today. You don't have to have one right now, but go ahead. If you're on Facebook, share this on your timeline. So just hit that share button right there, put it on your page, send it to your page, have a watch party, have a discussion with it. Maybe bring your mentors and mentees, Stephen.
That's it.
You know what I'm saying? Into the conversation and talk about it. Go over and sign up for the group. The Revolution will not be televised. It will be live streamed. As a matter of fact, I got some news to tell you today. I don't know if you'll like it, but I got to tell you, starting today, the rebroadcast of The Revolution will not be televised. It will be live streamed, will only show in the group. So you can see it here right now. And we'll probably leave it up for about, maybe about 6 o'clock today. But after that, it's going away from Stephen's page. It's going away from my page. You're only going to see it in the group. And that's from here on out. So don't say we didn't tell you. And don't call Stephen with, I can't believe you took it off your page. We told you it was going off the page. So watch it now. We'll leave it up so you can have a watch party. We'll leave it up probably for the rest of the day. By Sunday, you'll only be able to see it in the group. So if you want to see as a matter of fact, Stephen, the other episodes are exclusively in the group. That's the only place you can see them. And you definitely need to go back and watch Stephen's from last week so you can put all of this together. Stephen, tell us about your other talks that you have during the week and how people can connect with you.
Awesome. Facebook Live on Tuesdays at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. Mirror Moments. That's where we gather together for about 15 to 20 minutes. My effort to help you change what's within so that you can change what's around. This week, we'll be tuned into relationships. So we have 2 strands. We've got leadership one week, relationship the next week, and we rotate those. So this week we'll be focused in on leaderships. My main aim is that we would do introspection so that we can look on the inside of us, clear out some stuff, tweak some stuff to become better versions of ourselves so that we can impact and influence people in our circle.
What's your website?
StephenThurston.com. Ample content there, blogs on leadership and relationship, ebooks on relationship topics. I've got tools there for those who are in the business space, small business, large business, nonprofit, church. We've got tools there to help you to become more efficient and effective from the project management lens and administrative lens. So please go check all of that out. Rick, where can the people catch you?
Well, before I say that, I got to give a shout out. He's got some great tools for project management too on his website, StephenThurston.com. Go check that out. Somebody's asking about this t-shirt. I'm glad you asked. You can go to Instagram and follow I Wear Destiny. These are message shirts. They're designed by both my wife and I. If you can look at the sleeve, yeah, there it is. If you look at the sleeve, it says your destiny is becoming your reality. So we put an original thought there, destiny loading on the front. You got the loading bars. Just go to my website, RickyAllmon.org. Stephen may have a mug next week. Who knows? But we're going to give you everything you need for your life, for your future. It's warming up outside. This t-shirt is in black. It's in white. It's in pink. Of course, you know, my wife, there's a pink one. And real men wear pink too. So I might come on with the pink one next week. I'm going to send Stephen a pink one. Yeah, I'll find out your size. I'm serious. You'll get it this week. So Stephen's wearing a pink shirt next week. If you don't come on for any other reason, Stephen will have on a pink t-shirt next week. But go to RickyAllmon.org. There's a whole lot of content there. Matter of fact, did you know, Stephen, they can watch this now through my website. We need to get your website the same way. So,
awesome. Let's do it.
Yeah, and it's easy to do. So we're actually going to be able to stream this through our website. So if you don't feel like coming on social media, you can go to our website. I come on Thursday nights too for Life Talks. Every Thursday night at 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time for Leadership After Dark. We've had some great subjects, Stephen. We've talked about, you mentioned them earlier, Don't Dance with Dinosaurs. Dinosaurs represents old systems and old behaviors and old patterns. We talked about the DNA of a dinosaur slayer, and I'm excited about the series that I began this week, the 5 keys for productive leadership and for productivity in your life. So I'm talking about leadership and life. I gave 2 of those keys. You can see that on my page. But meet me on Thursday at 8:30. I look forward to it. This has been great, man.
This has been amazing, man. You dropped gems today. People's lives are changing right now. And so we appreciate you for what you did. We appreciate everybody who tuned in today. Thank you. Please share the word. If you're blessed, somebody else is going to be blessed by what we're doing.
Finally, if you want real-time notifications about when we're coming on or things that we're doing, just text Impact Life to 31996. The word Impact Life, IMPACTLIFE, to 31996. And go over and like the group. Go over and like the revolution. Will not be televised. It will be live streamed. I'm Dr. Ricky Allmon, and you are, sir?
Stephen Thurston.
Thank you for joining us today.